as 2016 is coming to a close, I thought it would be pretty fun to look at the 8 best movies I have seen this year. I've seen mostly good movies this year, and I did not see enough bad ones to make a worst list this year. So anyhow, now, even though the ones on this list are ones that came out in 2016 this time, the usual rules are these are not a list of, they're not usually a list of all movies that came out in 2016. They're the best movies that I have seen this year. So anyhow, let's begin. Number 8, Ghostbusters. Now, I know I may get some hate on this because it was panned by critics and also by fans, but in all honesty, I found this a kind of enjoyable movie. The dialogue wasn't the best, and it will never live up to the original. But as a movie on its own, it was a relatively okay movie. Hey, the women cast, they make me laugh, so I ain't complaining. Though it did have problems with the dialogue, and the special effects were... The best parts are the special effects, and some of the humor really made this a really enjoyable movie. So, alright. And it was a pretty good movie, in my opinion. Number 7, Jason Bourne. Now, this was the first Jason Bourne movie I had ever seen, so when I sat down and watched a couple of the originals, it made me look back on this one and think it's not as good as the others. The story isn't that great as the others. And there are a few flaws, but still, the action, as you know, Jason Bourne fights like a savage. I found that still the action makes this a fairly enjoyable movie. So any Jason Bourne fan on there, I recommend it. Number 6, Jack Reacher. Now this movie I was actually convinced to go see it by Morgan Lance. And so we went and saw it, and I found it pretty good. The story is fairly decent, and not to mention Tom Cruise does an excellent performance as usual. The action is well done and has a very satisfying ending. And so anyhow, alright, let's move on. Number 5, Civil War. Now, I also went and saw this with Morgan Lance as well. But while everything was good, including the action, as usual, and with all the humor, and nowadays Marvel movies, each of us had a flaw with it, had problems with it. Morgan Lance's was the ending, which I didn't really think too much of the ending. The only problem I had with it was Spider-Man. Oh my gosh. Man, that kid was so freaking annoying. And yet they're making a spin-off movie this coming year, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'm gonna go see it anyway. So anyhow, it's just another great Marvel movie that comes every year. So I recommend seeing it if you haven't. Number 4, Rogue One. Now, I just saw Rogue One last night, and it was and it was well, I can say it was definitely a good side plot. It really showed how the rebels actually ended up finding out about this Death Star in the first place. Again, I'm not spoiling anything, but that's just the basic thing. The acting's pretty good, but the one thing that kind of brought it down is that it's not. I mean, it's exciting, but it's not as exciting as the others. Well, and the action was entertaining, and the characters were likable and relatable. Well, so anyhow, alright, so in conclusion, go see it if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan or just a regular watcher in general. I recommend it. Number 3, Magnificent Seven. Now, another movie I saw with Morgan Lance. It was another one he convinced me to go see with him. Now, this is, and I can tell you, this is one of the best Westerns I've ever seen in a while. It has a great story, great characters, satisfying action, and a satisfying final battle. And probably one of the best villains on my list. So anyway, it's just a good movie, and I recommend it. Number 2, Free State of Jones. Now, I know this one got mixed, but I actually like Free State of Jones. And this was one of the movies I was actually hyped to see when it came out, telling an untold story about a former Confederate soldier who fought against the Confederacy and freed slaves. And I'm surprised this guy is not more noticed in history. And Matthew McConaughey, well, not one of my top actors, he actually does what I consider his best performance. One of his best performances. And says I've seen him in. And I actually recommend you watch this one. And number 1, The Accountant. Now, this one got mixed as well, but in all honesty, it's one of the best movies I've seen this year. Telling an anti-hero kind of story about a guy with autism who's undercover as an accountant, basically working as I don't want to say an assassin, but he kills people. The action is great. Ben Affleck does an excellent job with his performance. The story is well done for what it is, or should I say good for what it is. And it's just a flat out good movie, and it's the best I've seen this year. So if you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? If you like things like Jason Bourne, you'll love this movie. So anyhow, that's it. That's my best this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, favorite, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see y'all in my next video.